So we're going to dive into, thank you, Gage. We're going to dive into just the training first, and then we'll go over the team numbers. I think we can keep this short and sweet this week. But I want to go over, if you guys want to write this down, the 8 steps to final expense. We're going to cover that. But I want to touch on first your different lead options. I know we have a few out there for final expense. I just got off the phone with, I know some of you are familiar with Lead Concepts. That's Chris Ware and Steve. And they have right now, I've never heard Chris say this, and they're a big mail house. They've been around for, I think, like Jared, maybe you know, but like 25, 30 years, something like that. But they've been around for a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah, and they're a pretty, I mean, I think they're probably in the top 3 lead houses for mortgage and FEX and Medicare SUP as well. So he was saying that they have a lead program right now where they generate Facebook Medicare leads, or I'm sorry, Facebook final expense and Facebook Medicare leads as well. And they run them from Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So that's the only time you're going to get a lead in. They text you the lead right when they get generated. It's $1,200 a month for the first month, and every month after that it's $1,000. You can do 1 month or you can do every month after that. But what it is it's 3 to 4 leads a day, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. He's like, the reason that we have it, the demographic shut off for, 2 a.m. and Saturday, Sunday is because he's like, you won't be able to call the lead at that time. And these are the leads that you need to call right away, which is any digital lead in general. So they email and text these leads 8 times within 24 hours of lead being generated. He said half of them will answer, half of them won't. I love the transparency with them. Like, they're going to tell you exactly how it is, which I appreciate. So $1,200 a month for the first month, and then every month after that is $1,000. So that might be something to look into. And then there are also different final expense mail drops you can do as well. And then LeadCo, I wanted to share this with you guys. LeadCo right now has Medicare mailers that are returning at a high rate right now, higher than they anticipated and higher than last year, which is like, for any of those who know anything about mail right now, they're seeing the returns drop every year. So their Medicare has increased. Right now it's a 1.5 to 3.5% return on mail. And then randomly, if anyone wants to go to Ohio, they have a 5% return rate in Trumbull, Ohio, which is nuts for mail. So LeadCo is different than Lead Concepts. Lead Concepts is the one that I just shared with you. It's a digital lead first, and then that next one is LeadCo. So I wanted to get that out there to you guys. And then we also have a lead company that will do $34 a piece for FEX and Medicare mailers. So you can talk to your upline or talk to one of us after the call, and we can help get you set up with making those connections if you would like to get into them. But I wanted to dive into selling final expense during AEP. The reason why this is such a great opportunity, guys, is pretty self-explanatory, but our final expense clients are within the demographic of our Medicare beneficiaries. So final expense is a great way to get in the door and have that cross-selling opportunity. But the one thing that you're going to want to show up with is a Medicare, ask me about Medicare PIN, just as what is it? I'm trying to think of the word here. It's very heavily regulated, so you can't bring up Medicare to them. They have to reach out to you about it during that appointment. So you'll want to wear that PIN on there, basically just for, I guess, legal purposes, get them to ask you about Medicare so that you can uncover that opportunity for yourself. But the first step I want to talk about, you guys, if you want to write down 1 through 8, I'm going to go through these 8 steps to final expense. I've learned this, I didn't come up with this. This is something I learned from a sales trainer at the previous organization I was with. And the first step to a final expense appointment is going to be getting your mind right and putting everything else, away for that time that you're going to be in the home. So anything that's going on, you're going to want to compartmentalize and then go into the home. And before you're going into the home, you want to get your mind right by just visualizing, seeing yourself end the appointment with a sale, right? Getting your mind right is such a big you could go from one appointment to the next appointment, and if you're not starting fresh, you could, the whole day could be a wrap. And so you want to make sure that you're keeping your mind right and you're actually visualizing, seeing yourself getting the results that you want in order to go out there and get them. So that's number one, is just mind right. Number two, you're going to want to tell them exactly who I am. So if you want to write down who I am, what you're going to want to do is when you're explaining who you are, you can say, look, I'm an independent broker and I'm a field underwriter. Independent broker, what that means, and you're going to point to your client care sheet and you're going to say, you guys see this is on the website. You're going to want to have this in every home. Of course, I can't find it. But you're going to want to point to this sheet and you're going to want to say, as an independent broker, I have the ability to shop the market for you. So if you're familiar with, plans like State Farm, Farmers, Allstate, those types of plans are great for a bunch of different coverage, but not necessarily for life. If you do have it for life, we can take a look at it and see if we can, put you in a better position. It's not that it's a bad company, but the way that these carriers work is they have to fit all the people into one box, whereas working with a broker allows us to shop the market for you and figure out what's going to be comfortable, affordable, and see if you can qualify. And the reason you want to let them know who you are up front is because you're going to reduce a lot of the sales pressure, and you're actually going to get them to hear what you have to say when they know that they're not just going to be, in the most expensive plan out there, or they're going to get denied. Right? Because a lot of these people are just thinking right up front, I probably can't afford this, or I'm not going to qualify. So you want to just let them know that you're there as a broker to be able to help them out, and that you have access to, helping them out, whether they have cancer, diabetes, whatever it may be. So and this is a good term too for final expense, I forgot, can't leave this out. So when you say all of the options that we have here are state regulated, everyone I've sat with here today, I've been able to help. So no matter what situation you're in, I'm confident that we can find something that's going to be comfortable and affordable. And most importantly, we just need to see if you qualify. I know I've talked about this before, but Jared and I have shared with each other that we both will say, we just want to make sure it's comfortable and affordable, and we're just going to go ahead and see if you qualify, like over and over and over again. So that way throughout the appointment, they're knowing that no matter what, we're going to see if you qualify today. So when I get to that point, it's not awkward. I've been leaving little hints here and there over and over again with the same thing. So you want to make sure you say something like that along those lines. All of these programs here today, Teresa, are state regulated options. So no matter what, we'll be able to find something that will fit your budget, and most importantly, something that you're going to qualify for. Okay. So number two is just who you are and what you're there to do. Number three, you're going to want to write this down, 3 reasons why. And what you're wanting to do here is, instead of just asking them what they filled out this form for, you're leading them to pick an answer that you're going to state to them. We talked about this a little bit on last week's call, but I just want to let you guys know those 3 things. And that's, one, most people, Billy, they want to leave, some money to their family. Number 3 is for cremation and burial. So a lot of people, oh my gosh. Wow, that matcha really just hit me. Number one, David, most people, mention that they want to just leave something behind, take care of those final expenses, whether it be cremation or burial. Okay. And number 2, a lot of people I sit with, they want to just make sure that their income is replaced when they're gone. So John, Mary, we need to figure out what that looks like here today. And we'll go over that here in just a bit when I gather some information on your health and your finances. But a lot of people I sit with, they just want to make sure that they're going to have some income to replace when they're gone. Okay. And number 3, Nelson, we're going to want to make sure, or a lot of people are going to want to make sure that they can leave some sort of legacy. So out of those 3 options there, one being that you want to just kind of take care of those final expenses, cremation, burial. Number 2 being you want to replace your income. And number 3, you just want to leverage your legacy and leave something behind. Which of those 3 sounds mostly like you? And so instead of the idea there is to option close them in a sense, right? Because the final expense lead is pretty straightforward. They're looking to cover their final expenses, but maybe the reason why it looks a little different for a few people. So If you guys are still with me, drop a 3 in the chat. That was number 3. Number 4, you're going to want to let them know the 3 things that you want to accomplish today. And I do feel like it's very strong when you say something along those lines. You know, what I'm looking to accomplish today, Teresa, is I want to make sure that we're going to find you something comfortable, affordable, and most importantly, we're going to see if you can qualify. Okay. Number 5, what that looks like. Remember, we're doing 8 steps to final expense, so we're halfway there. Number 5, now what that looks like is we're going to submit a request for coverage today. And Renee, don't be discouraged if for some reason we get a denial or something comes back and we need to fix something. Like I mentioned before, I'm a broker, so I'll be able to shop the market and look and find a different plan for you. You know, we're going to do our best today to underwrite this, and, you know, I'm going to make you look as good as I can on paper to these carriers, but ultimately we don't get to make a decision today. So we're just going to submit a request for coverage, find something that's going to be comfortable and affordable. And then I'll go ahead and let you know here in the next couple of days, you know, if they're going to take you as a client. So that's big too, is letting them know what you're going to do over and over and over again, because then when you go to the point of quoting them and closing them, it's not, you know, it's not weird. You're not feeling out of place. You're telling them the whole time, here's what we're going to do today. Not, hey, do you want to fill out an application? It's here's what we're going to do. And then number 6 is the client care sheet. This is, you know, this is the part where you're going to be working as a field underwriter. You're going to be gathering as much information as possible. When I talk to agents who are in a home, especially early on, and they're struggling, almost every single time it's because there's something on that financial inventory or client care sheet, it's the same thing, that is not filled out. So if you don't leave that paper blank and you get all of those answers, you're going to have a good idea. You're going to know what to do. But if there's one piece missing from there, like for example, the income, I see so many times people struggle getting the income. Does anyone drop a money in the chat if anyone has been nervous to ask how much they make, or, you know, what comes in Social Security? I feel like that's, you know, before you get to the Social Security number and the banking information, I feel like a lot of people hesitate asking that. And a good way to do it in final expense is, you know, looking down at your paper, just like you're filling out, you know, for every single client, you're just looking down, you're just doing your job. Hey, Gage, does your Social Security come in on the 1st, on the 3rd, or what day of the month does it come in? Okay, on the 3rd Wednesday, perfect. And then how much comes in? And it flows right off the top, you know, but you need to get that information because you won't know what to quote them or what they can afford if you don't have their income. So
one little thing I like to add in that worked really well for me is ballparking, because the thing that people will do is they'll correct you if you're wrong. Ballpark, you make like $1,500 a month. Ballpark, do you make about 1,000? Ballpark, you make about 2,000. And what are they going to do? They're going to, no, I don't make 2,000. I make 800. No, I don't make 1,000. I make 700. No, I make like 2,500 or $3,000. So ballpark suggesting with numbers, just intrinsically, once as a human being, you want to correct someone if they're wrong. Like, would you say it's around 1,500 a month? Would you say it's around 2,000 a month? Ballpark. It's a great word, so that it's like not as invasive of their private information.
Yeah, I like that. That's strong. So that is why it's so important to get everything filled out on that client care sheet, because if it's one medication, or if it's not knowing their income, you know, not knowing if they have any assets or anything like that, then you're leaving thousands of dollars a month on the table by just not asking simple questions on that sheet. I don't really need to explain like why it's so important. It's just, it's everything tied into one sheet that's going to help you uncover, whoops, oh man, I always do that. It's going to help you uncover any cross-selling opportunities and be able to actually help them with their final expenses. Because there's so many times I'll get a call and they have no idea what they make a month. I'm like, how do you know what to quote at all? You know, that's when they tell you, oh, I want to look at 30,000, but they're 83 years old and that's $500 a month. They can't even, you know, they make $800 a month from their Social Security. So you know, you want to make sure that you're asking that. It's one of the most important questions, but fill this out entirely. It's going to ask questions on here. Do you have anything that would act like life insurance? something were to happen to you. So anything like 401k, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and this is going to be your opportunity to uncover an annuity, which we're starting to talk about more, but we need to talk about even more, the opportunity to help them with their retirement. So that is number 6. So number 1 is getting your mind right. Number 2, who I am. Number 3, the 3 reasons why I'm here today. Number 4 is the 3 things that I want to accomplish here today. Number 5 is the process, what today is going to look like, what we're going to do. We're going to submit a request for coverage. Unfortunately, we can't make a decision today, right? That's a takeaway. So you're letting them know what you're going to do, but also saying maybe you're not going to get it, right? But also letting them know, hey, if something comes back, I'll be able to look at other options for you. And then number 6, the client care sheet, filling that out completely through, and then calling for help if you need it when you're in there. And then number 7 is the quote. So after you've gotten all that information, you can take easily now 3% of their income, 5%, and 7%. And that's a really good way to just have structure and a framework for every appointment that you have, because sometimes you're like, I don't know, like what would they afford, you know? And if you go and if you look at 10% of their income, like that's a little high, right? But we want to look at 3, 5, and 7%. And the cool thing is, you guys, is as we're looking at these numbers, if you're going to book a future appointment with them to sit down about their Medicare, there's a very good possibility that more money is going to open up in their budget, because a lot of these Medicare plans that we are helping clients get are helping them save money, and they're low cost, $0 premium, whatever the compliant way is to say that. But that is why you want to make sure you keep them in budget when you first sit down with them in that 3, 5, 7%, and right across the table, lay it down, and you can give them your pen and you can say, you know, circle which one is going to make the most sense for you as far as coverage goes, and then also budget. We want to make sure that this is something that you're going to keep, you know, until the day you die. So quoting it is not that difficult if you know how much they make, and then you know to use the 3, 5, 7 rule. And be very, very careful if they say they want 30,000, they want 20,000 in the beginning. You'll say, okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and look at that. You just want to move past that, and then you want to address it, right? Okay, so you know, you said you want 30,000. John, were you looking to do burial, or were you looking to, you know, replace some income from Mary when you're gone? Which one were you kind of thinking? You know, so you always want to ask a question and address it, but just know that you're only going to be able to look at 30,000 if it's within that 3, 5, and 7% of their income. And then number 8 is the close. So once you slide those quotes over to them, that is the close, right? You're going to be asking them, okay, if you want to go ahead and circle which one's going to make the most sense for you, of course, based on budget and coverage. Again, we can't make a decision today, so this will just be submitting a request for coverage, but based on what you know and what you can see here, which one of these is going to make the most sense. It's pretty simple. So if you guys want to drop an 8 in the chat, if you're still with me here, if you guys have questions, you can drop them in the chat as well. But the key here is, you guys, you want to wear the badge when you go into the home that says, ask me about Medicare, because they have to ask you about it. You should be in a final expense talking about final expense, not Medicare. However, we have the ability to cross-sell and book a future appointment as well. So if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat here.
I think the most important thing to understand is, what's the number one objection that we get when we're working final expense? I can't afford it. I don't have the money for it. That's typically the number one objection that you're always going to get from these seniors. And so the value of being able to review their Medicare, and look, I get it, not all you guys are in a position to do Medicare, but what I would highly suggest is you finding a referral partner on here. There's 31 people on here, with over half of us doing Medicare at least. So if you don't plan on doing Medicare, that's completely fine. Find a referral buddy on this call and work something out with them. Hey, any person that I run across that has Medicare and want to review, can we work together so you review it and you give me a little kickback when I get paid? Whatever the circumstance may be. But when you say that's, you know, it's my opinion, I guess, that I'm saying that's the number one objection. But if you can find something that doesn't cost them anything, which is reviewing their Medicare and a $0 premium plan, now you all of a sudden become a lot more valuable of a person. And you go from a no sale to a potential enrollment. You go from a no sale to a referral to, you know, if you're not going to do Medicare. So to me, it's a 2-for-1 lead, especially during this time. I definitely know people would be filling it out thinking it's for Medicare, but it's for final expense. And so I just told Ashley, I think it'd be a good idea for us to talk about this today, because you're going to get people who are filling out final expense forms and information thinking it's Medicare. So I think it's just super important that if you're not going to do it, find someone in the team. It looks like Mars dropped in there. You guys can always reach out to her. I know she'd love to become a referral partner with any of you guys. But the other two things I just wanted to add real quick, and then I actually got to run. I had dropped in the chat. I know it pops up as, I think it pops up as Michaela or something. I don't know, Safe Haven Agency. But if you scroll back to the top, I dropped a link. It's called funnelfreshleads.com. Marcus McCall and Andrew Seeberger have been working these leads. They're digital Facebook leads at 15 a pop. They do local, they do statewide, and both these guys been selling off of them. So that's a, you know, valuable lead source that 2 of our top life insurance agents are utilizing right now. And then I also dropped in there that the Integrity Lead Center has year-plus-old final expense mailers for $1.50. So if you're a person that you know, don't have a big budget, or you're trying to get as much cost-effective leads as possible, I wouldn't necessarily recommend calling through them. I'd find them in your backyard and go door knock them. Because if you door knock at the door about a 3-year-old final expense lead, but you have an Ask Me About Medicare button on there, all of a sudden you could create an opportunity off of a final expense lead for Medicare. So I just wanted to add those little 2 tidbits in there.
So Gage, that's a good point. Once you posted that, one of the things that I did last year, because I didn't have enough leads, was I did that. I had final expense leads. They booked them for me. So my schedule last year during AEP was life insurance and Medicare appointments. And I can tell you guys, wearing that button onto life insurance leads, you're going to get asked, because they're looking for somebody other than a TV commercial or somebody calling them from overseas. You're going to get asked. And I would tell you, half my enrollments came from life insurance leads. And the cool part about that is you also sell life insurance. So you get those big checks. So it's like double, like you're double dipping basically. And the other thing too, is you can door knock a final expense lead. You can't door knock a Medicare lead. So I just looked in the area that I'm in right now. When Gage posted that, there's $657.50 final expense mailers. That's fire.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, you're right. Thank you for bringing that up too. I forgot about the door knocking part, and that's key, because on the Medicare stuff you can't, but on the life side you can. So it's a good way to get in the door. And this too, you guys, you're going to want to have this printed out for every single appointment. So this is our product portfolio. So just like Gage was mentioning, like even if you are not doing Medicare, if you don't do annuities, I would definitely find a referral buddy partner to work with, because this could be the difference of whether or not you have a client for life or not. Because I know for a fact, if we have agents who are helping clients with their retirement, their life insurance, their Medicare, and you're covering everything in that home with them, they're going to stick with you for life, right? If they buy from you 3 times, that's a lifetime client for sure. So this right here is, you know, even if you're not doing Medicare, this is a good way to get a client for life and refer it to someone else for sure. So that's called the product portfolio. And then obviously you guys want to have your client care sheet printed out. I wanted to just go over the, where's this at? Let's see. Oops. So for your Medicare clients, these needs analysis are up on the website, and they're in our toolkit as well. So you want to make sure you have these printed out for them. But I have everything printed out, ready to go to the health plan selection. I know we're talking about health now, but I just wanted to let you guys know to print these out, as well as the client carrier or I'm sorry, as well as the client care sheet and the carrier sheet. So that way you're showing up as a professional. I think it looks best if you show up with colored copies personally. But I really want to try out these digital Medicare leads, and I will let you know how they go. I kind of jumped the gun on telling you guys all the information without trying it. However, the people who are generating these leads, I trust, and like I said, have been in business for 30 years on the mail side. So I will let you guys know how those go because I'm going to be placing an order. But I hope that was helpful for you guys. I'm going to go over the weekly numbers, but does anyone have any questions on what we covered here today? And if Billy Gage, if I left anything else out, please let me know. Granada? Yeah, let me see here. Pull this up. Appreciate you too, no problem. Let's see. If you guys are traveling anywhere during AEP to run it up somewhere, drop the city you're going to in the chat. All right, well, if you're not traveling, drop your city in the chat then. Let's get some interaction here. Nice. Okay. Sorry, guys. Here we go.